Hello everybody, it's Joe from Britical Saiyans here, and today I'm going to be showing you my Broly deck profile. So this is using one of the old Brolys, very unknown Broly I suppose. So its auto is when this card attacks a lead card, you may choose one card in your life and place it in the drop area. If you do so, place up to 3 cards from the top of your deck into your drop. Then your opponent chooses one card in their hand and places it in the drop. So it says up to 3, so you could mill 0. Usually I just mill like 1 or 2 to get things going because of sparking. And its awaken is at 4 life, you can draw 2 to flip them over. So auto on this side is when it attacks you draw a card, then you may choose one of your non-token, non-black battle cards and place it in the drop. If you do so, your opponent chooses one card in the hand and place it in the drop area. So it's a way to get stuff off the board for you, but more so it's making your opponent discard. And its active main is once per turn, you can choose a card in your hand, place it in the drop, choose one of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. So this deck heavily revolves around like KO and discarding. Is the idea of it is just constant chain of like discard effects or popping things so that they have less to deal with. So going to the extra cards, there is only this one, I say. So there's 4 copies of our negate, which is Power Burst, because we are a black leader. So, and it's if your leader is black, negate the attack, then you can choose up to 1 black battle card from drop at your hand, or drop or warp at your hand. There isn't one in here, just to say. And it's sparking 5, so you can play your life instead of playing the energy cost, which comes in handy. So going into the battle cards, and starting with the 1-drops, we have 4 copies of Broly Dawn of Rampage. A lot of this stuff comes from like old sets, or it's stuff that was used a lot until the meta changed and it kind of died. So this is when you play this card, you can look at up to 7 cards from the top of your deck, add a green Broly from among them, and then shuffle your deck. So obviously it's all the old Broly stuff, not the new one, in case people are wondering for some reason. So, and it does use a lot of the Brolys, as you may have seen in the game. And next there's 3 copies of Trunks Bridge to the Future. So it's auto of when you play this card, look at 2 cards from the top of your deck, choose up to 1 Saiyan among them, add to your hand, then place the rest of the cards in the drop. So if there's no Saiyans, you dump both. If there's 1 Saiyan, you add it, dump the other. This is just in as a little bit of search power, and it's a card that you can just kill off afterwards for effects, or just combo. It just makes it easy to get all the Broly stuff, because otherwise our only search engine is 1 card. So, which isn't the best. So going into 2-drops, we have 3 copies of Chi-Lai the Beautiful. So this is what the feature rare from Clash of Fates. I had to think for a moment then. So it's 2k 15 power, and its auto is once per turn, when one of your opponent's battle cards is KO'd, your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand and places it in the drop. So to start with, this can combo stuff, well, kill stuff. There are other stuff, there's other cards in here that can kill your opponent's battle cards. But, so in the example lead, like you dump 1, kill something with theirs, that activates, and you can have multiple Chi-Lai activate at once, but it's only once per turn, so you can't just be like, oh well, I'll do it again because I've made you pop another card. But it can mean like if you have all 3 on the board, they're dumping 3 cards and you're killing something, which is pretty nasty. Next we have 3 copies of Lamo, Frieza 4 Soldier. So he's a 2-drop 15k power, and he has the active main of once per turn you pay green energy and choose one card from your hand and place it in the drop. Choose up to one Chile BR with energy cost of 2 or less from your deck, play it, then shuffle your deck. So our only target is her. He's literally just in there as a search engine, and you can kill him off for effects, and he's a 15k beat stick afterwards if you've got all your Chiles. But yeah, most importantly, he can search this out for you, and like it's half the energy cost to play her from the deck instead of your hand, which is helpful if she's in deck. Next we have 2 copies of Overflowing Bio Warrior Army. So this is a 2-drop 15k power, and also when this card is placed into the drop area from battle area, if your lead card is Broly, you may place one card from your hand into a drop and play this card. So if you KO it through an effect, you can dump a card to bring it back out. It doesn't have to come back in the same state, so you can swing, pop it, bring it back out, swing with it again. I would run more of this, but it's a case of the right balance between being able to do the effects and recovering from them. And if you can just keep making your opponent kill stuff and or discard cards, you don't need to worry about recovery because they can't do much anyway. So, but it's just handy if you kill them off for an ability. If not, it's just a nice little combo piece slash fodder in general. Next we have 3 copies of Speedy Partner Lamo. So again, 2-drop 15k power, and auto of when you play this card, if there's a Chile BR in play in the battle area, the opponent chooses one card from their hand and places it in their drop. So again, useful. It's more discard. Our only target is this Chile, but if you've brought her out with an effect and it's like, for example, you're on 3 energy at start your turn, you could use his effect, bring her out, then you pay the 2, bring out Speedy Partner, they dump a card, you make them kill something, they dump a card again. So, and as always, fodder. A lot of this deck's just kind of like fodder once you play it out because it's all on place effects. So, and finally from 2 drops, the super combo for the deck, which is Temporal Rescue Trunks. So it's the Sparking Super Combo. So Sparking 5, your lead Spike, draw cards, is 10k combo. It's a super combo. I can't really explain much about it. It's this one because you're sparking more than you're dying. Done. So next is the 3 drops. So to start with, we have 4 copies of Android's 13 Agent of Destruction. So it's 3-drop 20k power. He has critical and the active main of pay 2 energy to choose which one of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. Then the opponent chooses a card from their hand and place it in the drop. So obviously if you got your things like Chile out and your leader going off, you can just make them dump a few cards and kill something. Always helpful, and because he can just be a 20k crit, it's nice. You can play him out next, like following turn, you can decide to do his effects twice just to force a lot of discard. So, nice little option. Next we have 4 copies of energy powered Go Tanks. Again, another discarding card. So 3-drop 15k power, and the auto when this card attacks a leader card, your opponent chooses one card from their hand and places it in the drop. So it's continuously making them discard as long as you attack their leader, which I think it would be anyway because you want to get the damage through, and for this purpose you kind of need to. And next is Trickster Ganos. So again, 3-drop 15k power. Also, when you play this card, choose one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 4 or less and KO it. So it's a ability to KO something with your opponents, which starts like our Chile chain. Chi is quite it's fairly essential to getting chain discarding off because of how she works, but it's worth it. So next we got the only 4-drop in the deck, which is 4 copies of Deathless Warrior Broly. So it's a 4-drop 20k power. He evolves with 3 green energy onto a classic Broly. He has the point of, when evolving this card into a Broly with a different card name from your hand, the evolve cost is decreased by 2 green. So as long as you're not playing another Deathless Warrior on top of him, you're paying less, which is good because a lot of time it's 2 green and something else. So, and he has also, when you play this card, if you lead a card as Broly, your opponent may choose one of their battle cards and KO it. If they don't KO a card this way, they instead choose 2 cards from their hand and place them in the drop. So obviously good for the popping and discarding. If your opponent decides to kill something, you can set off chains that way. If they decide not to, you can just make them straight up dump too. So either way, you're benefiting. And it makes your next evolution much cheaper, which is nice. So for 5 drops, we have 3 copies of Rampage and Lifeform Bio Broly. So he's evolved for 2 green and 2 colourless energy, which obviously with Deathless White is just 2 energy. He has 20k power, double strike, and the auto, when a card evolves into this one, your opponent chooses 2 cards from the hand and place them in the drop. So it's literally just a non-place discardment, but you can play for 2 energy as long as you've got Deathless Warrior, so it's not bad. And next is 2 copies of True Form Ganos. That's why I said 2 Form Ganos. Tongue's dying slightly. So yeah, it's 5-drop 20k power. He has evolved for 4 to the cost being green. He has double strike, and he also, when a card evolves into this card, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards to KO it. Then your opponent chooses a card from their hand, place it in the drop. So obviously again, set off the chains, discarding, killing off. Your Ganos is this one, which has already killed something, so it's pretty good, but they're not super dependent in deck, and the more of them you run, the less Broly you can have. Hence the fact that it's just like a little 5 cards engine. It's worth it though. So next in the deck we got 3 of the 7-drop Broly the Supreme Berserker, which is kind of one of the reasons I want to do this deck. So he's a 7-drop with 30k power. He has evolved for 5 energy, 2 being green, 3 colourless, but that needs to be better in shot. Obviously with the Deathless Warrior, you're just paying 3 energy, so it becomes much cheaper because you have to pay 3 to evolve into Deathless anyway. So it's just next turn you do him instead. He has critical and barrier, and auto once per turn burst 5. So he mills 5 the moment we activate this effect. So when this card attacks, mill 5, blah blah blah. If your leader is Broly, don't know why I said your opponent, choose one of the following effects. So if your opponent has 3 or less cards in their hand, switch it back to active mode. If they have 4 or more in their hand, they reveal their hand, and then you choose 1 card from it and place it in the drop. So obviously if they built up hand, you could just be like, mill 5, get rid of this from your hand. If they are low on hand because you've just been discarding them like mad, you just get 2 swings of a 30k beat stick with crit, so it's less cards for them to recover with. And he also paves way for our final card in the deck, which is Broly Ultimate Age of Destruction. So again, we're using that secret with a Broly. I know. So he's a 8-drop, 40k with double strike, dual attack, ultimate, because he is an ultimate. And so his first auto is when one of your green battle cards with an energy cost of 7 or more is removed from the battle area by a skill or KO'd, activate this skill. You may choose all other cards than this card from your hand, place them in the drop. If you do, you play him. And the secondary also is when this attacks, if your life is at 1, your opponent chooses all cards in their hand and places them in the drop. So obviously pretty nasty. If you're dying, you can just be like, oh, swing, make it dump everything. Try and do it whilst they're on 2 or less life, because then you just get an instant win. Otherwise they're adding 2 to their hand. But it's dual attack, so it'll just trigger again. However, the only way we can get it out without having to pay the hard 8 is having this guy go to the drop. So do keep that in mind. It's not easily spammable, but it's worth running. So with all that being said, that is my Brody deck profile. As always, thank you for watching. Leave thoughts in the comments, and we will see you next time. Bye.